Hey, what's up guys? This is Rob. I'm back with another build series. This is the Randy Cooper 42-inch Star Destroyer that he just released a couple months ago. And I got on the list and I received it to build it for somebody. I was lucky enough to get one of the first batch, I guess, of his new kit. So I'm pretty excited about this. This thing is huge. It is 42 inches long and 24 inches wide. I built his original 38-inch Star Destroyer a few months ago, probably like 6 months ago. And that one was 24 inches wide by 38. So I guess what he did was he just made this kind of longer to reflect more of a Empire Strikes Back version, I believe. This is the Avenger, so I am going to paint it and detail it as much as I can, like that ship, unless the customer wants something different. I'm not really sure, but that's a long way off because I still have to tackle this thing and construct it. So as usual, Randy provided really good instructions, pictures of the process, how he put it together. I really think that's super valuable because he not only tells you how to do it, he gives you some pointers as far as what you need to do to make it, structurally sound and everything. So I got all the parts laid out. These are all out of the box. I didn't touch them yet. Crisp detail on this. These are open face pores, so a lot of the time there's excess resin, but I don't think it's going to be a problem on this one because of the way the hole pieces will line up. One thing he didn't do, if you're familiar with the original kit that he did not make these side pieces a separate strip that goes along the edge on the outside. It's integrated into the part now. I like that strip piece because you could sand down everything flush and then put those pieces on, but hopefully this will work out. I won't have to do that. Everything looks like very similar to the other build. As far as detail, it's just bigger. So it looks like he changed up the way you put the bridge together. He did provide the rings for the engine, which I think he did on the other one too, and also the baffles that go on the back of the engine. The bridge is a little confusing because it looks like he has the bridge vertical versus on the previous version it was the horizontal bridge, but I think the Avenger has a horizontal bridge, not a vertical bridge. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave that or not. So he made some minor changes that I see so far, but nothing out of the ordinary and nothing I can't handle. So if you plan on building this, you're going to have a lot of room. That's just the way it is. This thing is massive. I don't even know how I'm going to paint it right now. I may have to build a bigger paint booth. I don't know. It's very big. It's pushing the size limit that I can do in my shop, but I'll figure it out. All the pieces are in good shape. They're not really that warped at all. This piece is a little off, but that's fine. I have a good system now to flatten resin pieces that involves, what I did was I went out and I got a 50-pound bag of sand at the hardware store, and I separated that into like 2.5 pound or 2.5 gallon bags, and I just dipped the part in hot water, like boiling water, for a couple of seconds, maybe like a minute, until it gets pliable. And then I put it on a flat surface, which is usually my dining room table because that's really flat. And then I'll put the bag of sand on top of the part. And that works better for me than weights because it evenly distributes the weight. and it will flatten down a piece pretty quickly. So that's what I'm going to have to do with this piece right here. So I didn't do any of the building yet, but what I did do was at the beginning of the instructions, he has you create a couple of things. These assembly jigs that are basically like, I'll show you. Easier if I show you. Also this. So this is a Christmas tree that Randy gives you, which is nice. Now this is the internal structure. So I spent an afternoon with my belt sander and cleaned up all these parts, and then I assembled it pretty easily. If you do build this thing, don't worry about if these pieces are warped a little bit, because they'll straighten out when you put all the pieces together. And it fits together like a puzzle, and it's really strong. I thought I was going to have to build my own support structure for this, because I did that on the last one because he didn't provide the entire internal structure. It only went up to a certain point. This one goes all the way pretty much down the entire hull of the ship. So in the instructions, he has you buy a Home Depot, it's like a closet hanger bar. I didn't buy the one that he had suggested, because Lowe's is cheaper, or Lowe's is closer to me than Home Depot. So I saved myself 15 minutes of a drive and went to Lowe's. But he suggests in the instructions, and I could be wrong, but the instructions, he says that the pipe is 1 inch in diameter, but it's not. It's actually 1 1/8. So if you go out and buy that rod, make sure it's 1 1/8, because that's the size of the holes that he puts in the supports. So if you buy a 1 inch rod, it's going to be too small, and you're going to have to use spacers. If you buy the 1 1/8 inch rod in diameter, it's going to fit nice and snug in these parts, and you won't really have to do much. These aren't even glued on yet, the center part, and they're really tight. So he says to buy the rod and use the internal pole. So I don't know if he's mistaken in his directions and he has you use a outside pole. I don't know. I'll post a picture of the one that I bought. So if you go to Lowe's, you have the part number, you can see exactly what I bought. And it fits perfect. You just have to cut one end of it. Also, make sure that it's flush on the back, because this piece is going to butt up against the engine piece. Oh, and that's one thing he did change. Let me show you that. I forgot to put that one down on the table. On the previous version, this was 2 pieces. So he had you put 2 pieces together, and if you didn't have the angle right, you were in bad shape. So there's a chance that you could have had that off if you didn't set everything up right internally when you assembled the other one. But this one, he makes it all one big resin piece. And also, this back support is integrated into it, which is a great idea, because this is going to be really strong. And also, this piece will butt up against this piece, and everything will line up. I think it's off a little bit. I think there's a little bit of a gap in there because of some other parts that go on from what I could see in the instructions. So this part's done, and I'm going to start construction on this shortly, pretty soon. So what I'll do is I'll make a whole bunch of videos, and you can follow along if you want. If not, it's fine. If also the videos are too much, then I'll also post pictures on my Facebook and Instagram. So if you want to follow along and see some pictures of what I've been doing, that's probably the quickest way to do it. But I'll make the videos probably around 15 or 20 minutes in length, maybe a little longer. And I'll follow the whole process from start to finish. I am going to light this with fiber optic. It's going to be a light show. There's going to be a lot of lights in this thing. And there is a light kit available for this. It's made by Voodoo Effects, I think it is. I took a look at it, but I don't use light kits typically unless I really need a specific light. And that one looks okay, but I don't like the idea of running strip lights down the whole side, and then I'm not really sure. I don't like the looks of it, so might work out for you. I don't know, but I don't trust it. So I'm gonna run all the fiber into all the parts myself. Make sure it's all lit properly in the way I want it. Let me stop this for a second and I'll show you the jigs that I built to help with the construction. Before I show you the jigs, this version comes with a really nice base. Randy provided this, not this, but the resin parts he provides, which is really nice. It's like a Imperial themed flat base with these solid resin posts. And what I did was I traced that out and I made a bigger platform for it to sit on. That's all MDF and it's elevated a little bit, so I'll have some room underneath for switches and lighting and stuff, and you know, provide more support for the model. This jig is so big I can't even get it in the whole frame. So this is the bottom assembly jig, which is, I used foam board. I think because I had this stuff around, I used this foam board a lot for shipping models, so I had a lot of it around. And this is half-inch foam board. He used poster board, I think, in the instructions, which is a 1/4 inch, I think. But mine's a little longer than it needs to be. This is probably like 46 inches long. I just wanted some extra space. Obviously, you're going to need a lot of room for this. And the way it works is, this is the bottom half jig. There's also a top half. So this thing fits snug in there. And I can build the bottom part. And in theory, the angle should all match up and everything should sit in there like that. That's what we got for the bottom one. And there's the top jig. Same thing, just the opposite direction. Probably have to trim it a little bit to get it level. I also have to put a couple more pieces on here. So when the actual model parts sit on here, he has you put like some strips here to hold it in place, which I'll do a little later. This is actually held together with hot glue. So I cut the pieces and I just glued them all together. It's really strong, so I shouldn't have any problem holding that model. So we'll see how it works out. So I will come back when I have some actual building done. I just wanted to do a intro video just before I actually started building. So I'll be back shortly, probably in a couple of weeks, with an update.
Heavy base of action.